So I got a little something here I've been working on here. We discussed people aren't in Hall of Fames. I got a new project for us. There was a very good running back in the 90s named Fred Taylor. Remember Fred Taylor? Yeah. Running back with the Jaguars, right?
Yep.
He had everything. Power, speed, good receiver. Fred Taylor was a great NFL running back. Now, Fred Taylor some people were asking about the Hall of Fame, and he responded. He goes, "The daily disrespect of my career has always been laughable, blah, 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 blah." He mentioned some points. He's got some great points. And he was asked about this. He wasn't just ranting. So I looked at Fred Taylor's stats. I did a deep dive the other day. 1,200, 1,400, 1,300, 1,500, 1,200, almost 1,200, 1,200. 4.6 yards a carry. Don't sleep on that. And remember, he stopped being great because of injury, which we usually give people credit for. And it was after 30. He was still very good. 1,200 yards after the age of 30 does not happen a lot. So I did a little work on Fredo's behalf and found this. Seasons with 1,200 or more rushing yards, 6. Yards per carry for their career, 4.6. Others who did this, Barry Sanders, Jim Brown, Adrian Peterson, and Fred Taylor. That's it. That's a high-end company.
Yeah.
I think Fred suffers because the Jaguars were not that relevant. They had some decent teams, the Keenum and Cardell days. But that's Hall of Fame. He's 12,000 yards.
I'm more puzzled by not I understand him being upset, but the daily disrespect. Is there something happening on Twitter where daily he's getting messages being like, "You're overrated, Fred"?
If there is,
you're overrated.
If there is, I'd like to know because I would like to defend. I think Fred Taylor
did the daily disrespect of his career. Every day he's being disrespected.
Right.
And he had 5 years of at least 36 catches, which isn't terrible.
Dan, I'm off the Tiki Barber thing for a while.
I was going to say, is he your new Tiki Barber?
Yeah. This is a Hall of Famer, stat-wise and everything. He's got twice as many yards as other guys in the Hall of Fame.
15.
Twice.
How many touchdowns?
66. But 4.6 yards a carry and over and almost 12,000 yards.
4, 3,
That's nutty.
2.
Let him in.
By the way, I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden, Paulie decided that he's not on the crusade to get Tiki Barber into the Hall of Fame. He's what are you saying?
I'm pausing my campaign for Tiki Barber.
Okay. Now, whose campaign are you picking up?
Glad you asked, Dan. The great running back from the 90s and early 2000s, Fred Taylor from the Jacksonville Jaguars, nobody talks about him as a Hall of Famer, and his stats say completely otherwise.
Well, he had 11,000 yards.
11,700.
Okay. He had how many 1,500-yard seasons?
1,500. He had only 115. He had
1,200.
6 1,200-yard seasons.
All right.
He also averaged 4.6 yards a carry, which is a high-end number.
Don't sleep on that.
Not at all.
Okay.
And the only running backs to have 6 1,200-yard seasons plus and 4.5 yards a carry or more are Adrian Peterson,
Barry Sanders, Jim Brown. All right.
Those are first ballot Hall of Famers.
Okay.
His career ended a little early because of injury, which you usually get credit for.
Oh, yeah.
He had 2 1,200-yard seasons after the age of 30, which only Walter Payton has more. Worked to Walter Payton mention it.
Of course you do. Lack of success, hurt?
Of the team?
Yeah. Although, didn't Jacksonville beat Denver in Denver in a playoff game?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, with John Elway there. It always felt like it was more Brunell's team that we focused on. Keenan McCardell. Yeah, Paul.
There are guys who, was Matthew Stafford on his way to the Hall of Fame likely if he stayed a Lion?
Yeah.
Okay, so you could stat your way to the Hall of Fame without having postseason success.
Yeah.
Fred Taylor's in that category.
Yeah.
I know it's running back and quarterback.
Yeah. I just think, Jacksonville hurts him. Not in a big market, not playing in a lot of marquee games. Doesn't have a signature run, I don't think. Yes.
I'm just happy Fred finally addressed this. Because I'm so sick of the daily narrative by the media disrespecting his career.
I didn't know there was a daily disrespect. I thought that was like a website, the Daily Disrespect.
He tweeted, "The daily disrespect of my career has always been laughable." For years, 12 years now, Daily been just disrespecting Fred, and I'm sick of hearing about it from the media.
Yeah. Well, now we're on Fred's, side of this thing. There's no disrespect. It's the daily respect for Fred Taylor. Yes, Marv. You got something?
No, I was pointing at you saying, you know what, you're right.
Oh.
You are right. Fred Taylor, I'm in. And you know what? Hey, Fred, join us. Come on the show. Let's talk about it.
Okay, yeah, Paulie.
Yeah, Fred Taylor tweeted it out on Friday, and McLovin actually gave me the heads up because this seems like a thing you could annoy Dan with. And so Fred Taylor, though, yeah, we got his back. There's some running backs that don't get the credit. Like Tiki Barber, I can understand because the last 4 years of his career were unbelievable. The first 4 were not.
Yeah.
But, the stats tell otherwise.
Well, we focused on Tiki Barber because he fumbled. That was the big thing. I still think Ricky Waters is one of the more underrated running backs in NFL history.
You are correct.
Yeah, I know. He had, 10,000 rushing yards. He probably had 500 catches. He was one of the first dual threats out of the backfield that I remember. Yeah, Marv.
Do we put in Roger Craig before Fred Taylor? Let's put a list together, and we'll have it for you, Dan. I know how much you love lists.
Oh, yeah, I do. And I love Luke List as well. Yes, Paulie.
You're right. Ricky Waters, he went to 5 Pro Bowls. He had 7,000-yard seasons, 7. He also caught 467 balls back when nobody did that.
Yeah.
But it's weird. He had a lot of his good work early in his career. He wasn't the most beloved by the media. He had some issues, and people turned that against him at the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he was a great player. And that ability to be a dual threat back when it wasn't, in vogue to be a dual threat.